Thank you, Bharat. So today we have Dr. Krishna Mohan, and he is affectionately known as Krishi. He's a surgeon practicing at his own hospital, which is called as Prabhu Hospital at Mudubidri, along with his better half, Dr. Radhika Prabhu, and they are blessed with daughter Neeti. He has varied interests including trekking, mountaineering, wildlife conservation, photography, classical music, computers, and internet. He was a member of the team of 1990 expedition Brahma 1 to scale 21,050 feet of this world's 17th toughest peak on Western Himalayas. He is also a member of Arohana, Mountaineers and Adventurers, Mangalore. He has served the WWF for Nature from 1989 to 1992 and has conducted innumerable nature camps for young enthusiasts at Mudubidri, Bandipur, Nagarhole, and Bhadra wildlife sanctuaries. He is presently a member of the Wildlife First. His main interest in photography includes macros, close-ups, and nature. He uses his blog, uh, drkrishi.com, to educate people about nature as well as on photography techniques. And he, along with his friends, has started Mangalore Photography Club few years back. Under this successful club, he has been conducting several workshops, photography workshops, boot camps, and photo walks. 3 years back, he has started a new venture called Creative Focus, and there are 3,700 members in this, and they are very active on Facebook, which helps in learning photography as well as critically analyzing and improving photographs. He has contributed to discovery and description of 7 new species of spiders from Central Western Ghats, with at least 2 genera being first for the country, besides several new regional records, range extensions, and behavior, particularly in the family Salticidae, including the first ever report of jumping spider hunting a tadpole and an egg-eating spider behavior. So all these discoveries are published in prestigious peer-reviewed scientific journals and in accordance with the ICZN norms and standards. The Western Ghats rich species richness coupled with a lack of proper research on many groups on invertebrates in the region means there are several organisms waiting to be discovered, and that's just what their team is doing, discovering spiders one species at a time. You can check his work in his blog, which is running articles on photography and nature every week non-stop for the last 11 years at drkrishi.com. Over to Dr. Krishna Mohan for today's talk. He'll be talking today on masking up. So let's hear it from him. It's a very important topic.
Dr. Krishnamohan, I'll just take one more minute. Tomorrow evening, we have the ICGF at 5 p.m. So online. So those of you can join, please join. Over to Dr. Krishnamohan. I didn't know you were such a multifaceted personality, Doctor. You must give us more talks on the other subjects. Okay. Over to you, Doctor. Yeah.
Thank you, Suhail, for introducing me. Today's topic, I think, will be relevant because as Indians, most of us have reluctance to wear masks. But last 1.5 years now, we have been forced to wear masks. And still, a lot of people are reluctant. And that's why we have this so-called second wave of COVID. So whether to mask or no mask, that will be my topic today. So I'll cover a few of the points, why masking is important, how to mask correctly, what type of mask to wear, and what happens if you don't mask, and what are the recent changes which has happened in the last few months. So I'll do a small presentation. It won't be only presentation. It will be just showing pictures and I'll be talking in the background. So let me share the screen. Is it visible?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, right. So, mask or no mask? I think most of you, all who have gone through this COVID situation, definitely agree with me that you need to mask, because without masking, the chances of getting COVID is quite high, very high. In fact, in this second wave, we had the first wave starting somewhere in the April of last year, ending up somewhere end of September. So that was the first wave. While several other countries had multiple waves, UK already is in the fourth wave now. No, when they say wave, it's basically, you look at the number of cases at a given time and do a chart, and you see these charts show that the number of cases suddenly goes up and then drops down, and then again it goes up and drops down. So in UK there are four such peaks. In India we had only one peak earlier in 2020, and now the second peak, and luckily now that peak shows it's coming down in many places. For example, in Maharashtra, not on the rural side but the urban side of Maharashtra, part of Delhi shows the peak has now already passed the peak, and in Karnataka also, in Bangalore, its peak is now slowly starting coming down. But unfortunately we have Mysore, which is peaking up now, and all the rural areas are peaking up. So now, what really happens when you don't wear a mask? Now, if there is an infected person which you meet, and if you just keep 1 meter distance, there is absolutely no level of protection at all for you, and you invariably will get. And this second wave, the virus has mutated and it's much more infective in the sense it will pass on the infection to you earlier, but its lethality has come down. So it's not killing many people, but more people are getting infected. So let's say that only you are wearing mask, and the person who is infected is not wearing a mask. Then again, the level of protection is low, because each time he coughs, each time he talks, the sputum or the viral particles from his throat are going to come into the atmosphere. And even if you keep a 1 meter distance, which is the one of the norms which says, see, there are four ways of prevention. Mask is one, keeping 1 to 1.5 meter distance is the second one, washing your hands with soap and water or sanitizer is the third one. So that's, and wearing a mask, this is the fourth one. So these are the methods of you really protect yourself. So if the infected person is wearing a mask and you are not wearing a mask, then the risk is moderate, because when he coughs, the amount of droplets which are going to come out are little less because of the mask. Now, ideal situation is both you as well as the infected person, because you never know who is infected. When you go into the crowd and you meet somebody, anybody might be an infected person. So there it's ideal everybody wears a mask. So the rule what WHO has put up is that, when the common question what I get is, when do we stop wearing a mask? When the whole world is rid of the virus, and when everybody is wearing mask, soon it's going to come down. It's not as though it's going to last forever, but as soon as the critical cases, the value is something like about 60 to 70% of the population gets either infected or vaccinated. One of these will happen, and then the herd immunity will take over. After that, it will be like a common cold. So it will be among us, but most of us are immune to it, so we will be safe. So the type of masks what we get here, the common one right on the top left is the surgical mask. This is the mask which many people who are in the medical profession wear. It's also cheap mask. It's a disposable mask. So you can't use this forever. You can't wash it. So this is a surgical mask. But for a common man, it works out expensive because each time you take it off, you have to throw it off. You can't reuse it. So that's a drawback of this paper-based mask. The other one is called the N95 mask or KN95 mask. This is exclusively for medical professionals who are working in a high-risk area where you need to protect yourself. So the N95 is the mask which common man should not use it because one, it's expensive. The second thing is very uncomfortable. For us, we spend 8 to 10 hours a day with those masks, and we feel really horrible because the breathing through that, it's tiring. But the protection what it provides is excellent. So that's why when you are seeing an infected patient, when you are treating an infected patient, that's required. The other one is a foam-based mask. 2 to 3 layers of cloth will be there, the outer cloth, and then there's inside there is a foam. This is one which you can use quite comfortably without any problem for hours together, and this is quite safe. The other one is a homemade cotton mask. So this is washable. These two masks, the lower two masks are washable. So any one of these masks can be used. Which masks you should not use, and I have seen a lot of politicians wearing these masks, are these masks with the valves. Because these valves allow infections to go out as well as a certain amount of particles from other persons to come back and breathe in. So they are as though you are not really protected with these masks. These are basically used in an industrial situation, and some of them are medical masks. Sorry. Now, so if you want to choose a mask, better to get cotton masks which are washable, breathable. They usually have two layers or 3 layers. The inner layer should be a water absorbent, and outer layer should be water resistant, this sort of thing. The inner will be cotton, outer will be a nylon. Make sure that it covers your mouth, nose, as well as chin. It should fit snugly, and as much as possible on the side, there should not be too much of a gap. And better if you are wearing a spectacles, get one with the nose clip. So nose wire or nose clip, they call it. That helps fogging of the eyes. Now, what should not be taken? Don't use a fabric which is like a plastic masks. There are masks. I have seen some patients come with plastic masks. They're extremely bad because they don't allow you to breathe, vinyl masks. Then those with the valves. And then don't use N95 masks outside. They are meant for medical professionals, and they are not to be used extensively, and they are disposable. You can't wash it and use it again. The other thing is children who should get these masks. Now, main thing is don't put a mask on a child below 2 years. So below 2 years, if you put a mask, they'll have a respiratory difficulties. So it's contraindicated on any children below 2 years. So above 2 years, don't put an adult mask on a child, because what happens is that mask is totally useless. On the side, they can breathe. But fortunately, children have a better immunity against COVID, so they don't get infected that often. So it's better get a smaller masks which are available, which are made into a smaller size. So use those. Again, the same thing. If it should fit correctly, there should not be too much of gap on the cheek side. Now, this is how most people wear masks. So either it's around the neck, either on their forehead, either on their chin, the nose is out, or dangling from one ear, or under their nose where the nose is out, and or only on the nose and mouth is out. Or some people, wear it like a medallion on your hand, or Raksha Bandhan. Now, when you wear a mask or take out the mask, the important thing is you should not touch the front of the mask. What you should do is use only the earrings, that ear piece. So hold the earpiece and then put it on your mouth. And then when you are taking it out, again use that to take it out. Don't touch the front of the mask. Now, the reason is, see, the masks are used basically to prevent infection from others. So assuming that there was a contact with somebody who is infected in the crowd and he has coughed, and that particle will be sticking to the outer surface of the mask. So when you take it out, you make sure that you only use the ear thread and then take it out and then fold it in this way that the outer surface is now facing together. So you will be only able to touch the inner surface, which was in contact with your mouth, not the surface which is outside. And then after that, throw it into a bin. Preferably put it in a, suppose you are segregating your waste, make sure that this waste doesn't go with any other waste. Put it in a separate waste, which has to be disposed of as a medical waste. Now, what has happened is, these precautions, whatever I mentioned, are quite good in most cases. But recently what we found out is that the viral particles also linger around in a closed area. So suppose you are going to a mall which is crowded, or a shop which is crowded, or a place where there are a lot of crowds, your regular mask will not protect you. Now, the reason why the second wave really happened, even though there were a lot of people who were wearing masks, was that, one thing, we slowly lost interest because we thought that the COVID is going to come down and it has vanished from India. So people stopped wearing masks. This is one. The second thing is, all the areas which were crowded, people started wearing the regular masks, but they were of no use. So now the ideal situation is, if you are going to a closed room or a small place, or say a concert or a drama or any one of those, or going to a temple or going to any shop, you have to do what's called a double masking. Now this will protect you extremely well. It basically consists of two masks. One is the regular surgical mask. The other one is a cotton mask. Don't put two disposable masks. So you can take the surgical mask as the inner surface and the cotton mask as the outer surface. So this should be used when you are in a small congested area. Now, ideal situation is when you go for vaccination, because remember, vaccination will not stop infection immediately. It will take time for the immunity to build up. So vaccination centers, with all that rush and everybody going there and waiting for long time, is a potential area where you can get infected. So double masking is really this. And one more thing is, all the elderly who are at much more risk should do a double masking. Now, this is how the double masking really is. So wear a fabric mask on the outside and put a surgical mask inside. So I'll just show you a small video, which basically is from the CDC, which talks about making this surgical mask snugly fit if you don't have the double mask. So all you have to do is just fold it, put a knot on one end and put a knot on the other end. And once you do that, then you start folding it inside on both sides so that the air doesn't escape from the side, and then you wear it like a regular mask. So this will be snugly fit on the top, and put those ear supporters, and then pull it down to the chin, as well as make sure that your mask is snugly fit, and you press the wire. Now, after wearing that mask, make sure that you wash your hand, and then after you take it out, again you wash your hand. So that's basically how you, sorry. This is one of the biggest problem of wearing a mask. If you're wearing a spectacle along with it, so your eyes will start getting fogged. That is because whenever you breathe out, the moist air starts moving up the nose piece and start fogging the spectacles. So one way of preventing it is a nose clip or nose wire. So buy a mask which has a nose wire. So that will snugly make sure that it'll fit. Or you can also put a small band-aid inside, so that if you are working for a long time, you can use that as well as a protection to avoid fogging. So conclusion, when we all wear masks, we take care of each other. So please wear masks, avoid crowded places, stay 6 feet apart, and wash your hands. So take all these 4 steps for most protection. If you have any questions, you can ask me.
Dr. Krishna, Niranjan here. So there's been a recent study by Lancet that the virus is airborne.
Yes.
So with this double masking, maybe one N95 and one cloth mask on top of it, will that take care of that?
Yeah, it was only the Lancet study which made people, recommendation, if you're going into a closed space, not for open areas.
Okay.
Suppose you are in the open area, you can just wear a single mask. But if you're going in a crowded place, the ideal situation is the vaccination centers.
Okay.
So better to wear a double mask. So that's why I added that double mask, which is a recent recommendation. That's because of the aerosol spray.
Okay. Thank you.
Doctor, I would like to know, this N95s that are available, are they washable? I mean, can we reuse it, wash it?
No. N95 is disposable. The actual recommendation was only 8 hours of use.
Okay.
So, but during the early period in the last April, I'm not talking about now. Now N95s are freely available for medical purposes. But initially, we had a severe shortage of N95s. So at that time, they said that you can use it up to 25 hours, but at 8 hours a day. So we used to have 5 N95 masks. So use it for 8 hours, put it in a paper basket, then take another mask, use it for another 8 hours, and put it. After 5 masks are over, then you come back to the first mask. Without washing, you will be using it. So such 4 cycles were possible at that time. Now it's freely available. So most of us wear it for a day and then we'll dispose it off.
Okay. And the second question I have is, people say that if you are going for a morning walk at say 6 o'clock, we find it difficult to wear a double mask or even a single mask because we breathe more rapidly if you're walking briskly. So some people say that when you're moving and as long as you're maintaining 2 meters distance, from other people and not many people are there on the road, there's no need to wear a mask or you can pull it below your chin. So what is your opinion on that?
It's partly correct. If the road is nearly empty, like during this lockdown period, I think it's fine. But in a crowded place, you have to wear a mask. So the other thing is, the problem what happens is when you pull it down, you are touching that front of the mask. So if some viral particles are staying there, so what you can do is you can pull it down, use a sanitizer or a soap and water and wash your hand, and then put it back. So that's one place where again, your hand transmits the virus.
Okay. Thank you, Doctor. In the chat, Sanjay Krishna, our immediate past president, is asking, can I wear the cotton mask inside and surgical outside? Since
No,
he is allergic to the... Okay, since he's allergic to the fabric used in the surgical mask.
Oh yeah. There are instances of allergy with the surgical mask. I think the recommendation is usually the surgical mask inside, which is disposable, and cotton mask outside. I think what you can do is have a 3-layered cotton mask instead of surgical mask. That itself will act like a double mask. Make sure that it's snugly in contact with the chin. So there is no leakage of air at the chin. See, the most of the leakage of air happens either at the nose bridge or at the chin, because that shape of the ear tie up is like that. I hope it's fine. If you
any more questions, please,
Doctor. Thank you. Are
Yeah,
these cotton masks reusable, washable?
Yes, cotton masks are washable and reusable. That's the use of cotton masks.
Okay.
So people need not waste on disposable masks and make a environment degrade.
Dr. Krishnamohan Shankar here.
Yeah.
Our vaccination team is supporting the vaccination is not in a closed space. They are mostly in the open space, but they are in contact with a lot of people on a daily basis. So what's your recommendation for our team who are actually volunteers or they are volunteering in these activities? Now,
it's a potentially infected persons. So those people who are coming for the vaccination are potentially infected. They may not have symptoms, but there is a high chance that one of them is infected, and the chances of spreading it to others. So, and since these people are staying there for a longer time, I advise them to do a double masking.
Okay. Doctor, on the chat we have a question. How useful is a face shield?
No, face shield is now it's totally out of fashion now. So masking is enough. Even in the PPE, we are not using face shields because we found that the face shield will only protect our spit going out, not from somebody else's spit coming in.
Doctor, when I use a double mask for a considerable long period of time, say 4 hours, 6 hours, will I suffer from lesser intake of oxygen?
No. That's usually the feeling what we have. Oxygen intake is exactly same. For example, doctors, we wear it nearly about 12 to 14 hours a day. So we don't suffer from any oxygen this thing, but you have to get used to it. That's the idea. Problem is most of us are not used to wearing these masks. So that's why we initially think that we suffer from oxygen shortage, but it's not. It's just a mental feeling. That's all.
Dr. Niranjan again.
Yeah.
No, I'll let the other person continue. Right.
No, it is just a. What do you think? How long we may have to continue with this mask? I mean, months or years?
Till 70% get herd immunity. Now that means either 70% will get infected or 70% will get vaccinated.
Doctor, there's a question about protecting the eyes. There are, of course, I don't know how people who are wearing glasses on a regular basis can do it. But those who don't wear glasses, I think some special goggles are available which close the eyes completely, I mean, all around. So is it necessary to protect the eyes, or can you get infected through the eyes?
No. As of now, it's proven that it's only a respiratory infection. Those who are wearing spectacles, problem is somebody's cough or a spit might be on the spectacle. So if you try to wear a spectacle, then take it off and try to wipe it out, make sure that you clean your hand after that.
Okay.
So it won't directly go into the eye and hurt you. But if you are using a spectacle, there may be somebody else's spit on that particular spectacle. You may be touching it, and then using that hand, you may be eating or cleaning your face. So that is the time when it might get infected. So ideally, you wash your hands, and remember, even using sanitizers too many times will dry out your hand. So best is soap and water.
I think that point about spectacles was very good, because I'm wearing, and all these days it never struck me that I should be careful while cleaning it or touching it. So I think that's that's a very important point. We have a question in the chat: how to wash your reusable masks?
Regular wash. I'm talking about cotton masks. What we usually get it now. Those use it with soap and water and wash it. You don't need any antiseptic solution, because this virus really dies out just with the soap and water. So soap and water is fine. Just have a set of masks so that you have a dry mask. Don't wear a wet mask which is not yet dried out. So 3 or 4 masks, probably you can recycle them one after the other.
I think Mr. Niranjan Murthy had a question.
Yeah, I was about to ask the question on the face shield, but I think Doctor kind of answered by answering
Face
another
shield,
question. So I have been wearing it, thinking that it will protect my eye. So you kind of answered it while answering another question. So it doesn't really spread through eyes. Okay.
No. Wearing a regular spectacle is good enough.
Okay. Thank you.
We believe that if I'm in my cabin, I'm sitting alone in my cabin, I need not wear mask. Do you agree with that belief?
Yeah, I agree with that. But if you get somebody into your cabin, then you have to wear a mask and then meet him, greet him. Don't ask. And the second mistake what we do is, when we start speaking to somebody else, we start removing the mask. That's a mistake. So
most of the patients do, I think.
Both should wear masks and speak.
Okay, any more questions?
We have a question by Murli. They say that Murli is saying that is it that continuously wearing a mask causes humidity due to our breath, and the dampness causes fungal infection? Is there any kind of logic behind that?
Now this black fungus, white fungus has really eaten everybody's head. So no, it's better to get a mask which is not purely nylon. Nylon based masks, what happens is they don't absorb our sweat or any body fluids. So best is to have a mask which has inner layer is some cotton material which is absorbent, which can absorb moisture. So that way you'll be comfortable. I don't think using a mask for say 8 to 10 hours will cause fungal infection. But if you keep using it without washing, definitely you'll get it.
Thank you. And question as well. Is it advisable to shower using disinfectant like Dettol and Savlon?
No need. And in fact, most of these disinfectants are bad for our body bacteria. See, our body has good bacteria also. And by using all these antiseptics, soap as well as solutions, we are destroying many of those normal bacteria which live in the skin. So don't use too much of disinfectant. Use a normal soap and water, that's good enough. Normal, whatever bathing soap you're using, that is good enough.
But you're saying we should have a shower.
Yes, you should have a shower once in a while.
Doctor, what is your opinion on, nowadays we are getting a lot of online deliveries, parcels, big basket and all that. So
Yes.
some people say that we should not touch it for 3 hours, or after touching, we should all those things, spray it with disinfectant, all that. So because the delivery boy is holding it and then we hold it, what should we do?
No, this was the initial fear. When the virus initially started, we didn't know much about it. But now we know that it hardly spreads through contact. So none of these things, like you don't have to wash your vegetable with soap and water. You don't have to clean all the containers. You don't have to do any one of those, because as of now, the spread is only through direct contact. So if the person has coughed on that particular parcel also, so far it's cleaned out. So you open the parcel and then you take it out, whatever inside, and then wash your hands before you take food or any other, you do any other work. So just wash your hands. You don't have to wash the parcel or a container.
Thank you, doctor. Any more questions?
Yeah, one question, doctor. This is Sanjay Krishna. This is about using betadine for gargling, and also it is said that if you apply betadine inside your nose using a bud, it can help you either from catching the infection or spreading the infection. How
No.
correct is that?
No. One thing is, there are two types of betadine available. One is to wash a wound, clean the wound. That betadine should be only used on the skin. That cannot be used in the mucous membrane like the nose and the mouth. There is a weaker type of betadine which is available which is meant for a betadine gargle. So that can be used for gargling, but still a certain amount of iodine will go inside, but none of them are antiviral. Remember, none of them will kill the virus. So these sort of materials are not of no use at all. And the virus goes much deeper into the throat and into the lungs. So you can't clean the lungs. You can only go up to the back of the throat. That's all. So it's no use. Don't waste, gargling that. Even saltwater gargle will not really help. And don't go into the steam also. Steam, in fact, is harmful than being beneficial. What happens is your mucosa will get damaged with the steam, and it's a sort of a waiting place for these viruses to attack. If it is not COVID viruses, you'll get other viruses. It will only soothe you, but it is of no use as far as COVID is concerned.
Okay, so I think two people have raised their hands. Rajesh Kundar, can you have a question? Rajesh, you have to unmute yourself. Rajesh, please unmute yourself. Rashmi also has a question. Rashmi?
Hi, thank you, President.
Yeah.
Sorry, my this thing, microphone was muted. I don't have a question though. I was listening to all the talk by Dr. Krishnamohan. So I just wanted to say hello to him.
Thank you,
Dr. Enkel Navurdar Anchadu Namaskara Pankandu Yana Kaidertin.
How, sir?
Thank you. You had guided me to help a friend of mine. So nice of you. Thank you. I just wanted to say that.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. It was a very, very informative talk, and thanks for coming to our club and talking.
Sure, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rajesh. Rashmi, you had a question?
Yeah. So, doctor, I think in the US, the CDC has now said that if you've got both your vaccines, you don't need to mask anymore and walk around. Of course, our situation is different in India, but what is your take on that?
Yes, 45 days after the second vaccine, or if you were already infected by COVID, 45 days after that, you need not wear vaccine. We need not wear a mask, and you can roam around. But problem, what happens is your cops will not believe that that particular rule, because CDC has only told in US. So
So
I
it's
think
okay. It's okay to at some point if you've got both, and you're not going to be a carrier if you
no,
if
after
you've got
45
both.
days, no.
Okay.
And in fact, one thing, the recent studies, which is yet to be published, just came into the Nature, which says that anybody who's infected will not get infected again. So that's a good news. So those who are infected, as the government has already told that 12 weeks has to pass before they take the vaccine. The vaccine is supposed to be as a booster for them. So anybody who has got RT-PCR positive should wait at least 12 weeks for vaccination. But now it looks like you'll only have the COVID infection only once in your lifetime.
Doctor, I have one question before you close. I think Mahadev Dambal, you have. I'm going to be the president. I'm the president-elect. I'll be taking over as president in July. And there's a lot of Rotarians are keen to have a physical meet. So if they are vaccinated, I mean, double vaccinated, and past 45 days, can those people have a meeting? Is it all right to have a meeting?
Yeah, I think it should be possible in another few months, 2 or 3 months. Everybody can really have a physical meeting. I hope so. I mean, it should be
So
possible.
Shankar, you have to wait for 3 months.
Yeah, doctor, I'm Mahadev here. Regarding getting infected twice, you said it's not possible, but our CM got infected twice. And of
That's
course,
political infection.
political infection.
Wow. Okay.
I think he's saying that he's also suffering like the ordinary people. Okay. So
Yeah, unbelievable,
Got
actually.
out in just in 3 days.
My client,
Got out just in 3 days.
Okay.
No, there is what's the relapse is different. There is they won't be getting totally cured, and then there is a flare up. So that's a different. I'm talking about somebody who has really survived and recovered completely, getting infection later, say 2 to 3 months later, a reinfection. There is no documented. I'm talking about documented. There are a lot of news report which says that he got infected and other things. There is no real documented, scientifically documented reinfection, except in those people who are under immune treatment, those who are taking treatment for cancers and all other stuff. But the normal people with good immunity, I think there are enough B cells, we call it. These are in the bone marrow, which protects you forever. It's something like measles, mumps. Once you get it, you will never get it again. So similar to that. These are also viral infections. Similar.
Yeah, thank you, doctor. There's one more question we have on the chat. Are oral sprays which claim to kill the virus advisable?
No. Just do a saltwater gargle if you want. Nothing else.
Okay.
Oral sprays, no. They'll only clean up your mouth. Nothing else.
Okay.
Bad breath, they will remove.
Mahadev sir, you have another question or your hand has to go down?
Dr. Nilsson, again, just one more question on the vaccination. I think we discussed this in our photography group as well. The government increased the gap for Covishield to 3 to 4 months now, but I think that for Covaxin it has remained the same. Mine is almost 6 to 7 weeks now. I didn't want to go, when the situation is very bad outside. I'm just delaying it. So it's okay to have more gap for Covaxin also, right? I may go maybe in 2 weeks time.
Yeah, you can. There is no harm in having a delay, but there is no data available in case of Covaxin. Whereas in Covishield, they said that the more delay you do, not this month, not 16 weeks. They said 12 weeks is the ideal time from the first dose and the second dose. they found that it's better to have a 12 weeks gap so that the immunity is boosted up.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. Pranjit has raised his hand. After that, I think Mahadev has another question. Pranjit?
Yeah. Good evening, Doctor. Pranjit here. Doc, just want to check out what about this yogas? See, people have been saying to do yogas, build up your immunity, do this pranayamas, breathing exercise. Are they really helpful or it's just a passe?
No, it's a pass. It's none of them are really useful as far as the COVID is concerned. They are good as a regular exercises and keeping you active.
Okay.
But yoga itself doesn't have any effect on any disease as such.
Okay, they just help you to immunize your body. That's all.
Yeah, that's all.
Mhm.
Yeah. Mahadev?
Yeah. Getting infected once plus one vaccination, is it equal to 2 doses of vaccination?
Yes, that is afterwards. Suppose you got infected and then you take a vaccination, then
Yeah,
it's as
maybe
though
after
you are
2
taking
months
the
of
second
infection.
dose. Yeah, it is as though you are taking a second dose. That's why the government is asking people to wait for 12 weeks, which is the period between the first vaccination and the second vaccination, and get the vaccine. So you get a booster dose. The logic behind it is that each time you get a vaccination or infection, your body gets more sensitized to the virus, so it produces more of antibodies, and that in turn will keep our memory cells, which have got a memory for these viruses. So whenever the virus attacks next time, since the memory cells are already there, they would create antibodies against it immediately, so that before the virus replicates, they are going to kill the virus. So that's the whole logic behind the vaccine as well as behind this infection and second dose.
Doctor, I have 2 questions. One is, suppose somebody has already taken 2 doses. People are already talking, though the government is not officially talking, people are talking of some kind of a booster after 3 or 4 months. Is whether government gives it or not is a different issue, but they say it is good. What is your opinion on that? Number 1. Number 2 is, some people are saying there is some initial, there's some, I would say, speculation that it may be good to actually mix vaccines, in the sense that suppose you got 2 shots of Covishield, maybe your third or the booster dose could be Covaxin or something like that, or a Pfizer or something. So what is your opinion on that?
Okay, I'll take the first one. Who is taking vaccine now, the first dose will be there, the second dose after 12 weeks, or depending on, Covaxin is different, so Covishield it's different. But after that, probably after a year, you will also all need a vaccine, a booster vaccine, because we still don't have a study which tells us that how long this vaccination effect will last. As of now, the only study we have is, because the vaccine came just in the month of December and January, we don't have a study how long the effect of these vaccines will last. But we have an infection right from the February 2020, so almost a year and a half is since then. So we have a study of the infection. So the usual idea is that there will be a booster dose. None of these vaccine manufacturers are talking about it except Pfizer, which is telling after 1 year you may have to get one more booster dose. And I don't know how long it's going to be there. Every year you need a booster dose, something like what happens in America for influenza vaccine, flu vaccine. Every year a new flu variant comes and they all get flu vaccination. So that part we still don't know. Only time will tell. The second question was, I forgot the second question.
It's about mixing vaccines. They are taking
okay. Yeah. Okay, mixing vaccines. No, I suggest don't mix vaccines, because these vaccines are not made with the same type of vaccine background. For example, the Covaxin and Covishield, what we have today in India, and probably the Sputnik, which is similar to Covishield, you should not mix these vaccines, because what what Covishield did and what Covaxin did is totally different from each other. So best is to take that same vaccine so that the body's immunity is getting boosted. Now, there are instances where by mistake, a few people were given the wrong vaccines as a booster dose, as a second dose. So let the study on those people come out. Generally, in vaccines, it's never a good idea to mix vaccines. Usually, it causes more adverse effects than actual benefit.
Okay, thank you,
I'm talking
Doctor.
about experience from other vaccines other than COVID vaccines, because as of now, the COVID vaccination, we have very little data available, and none of these companies are really, for example, Covaxin hasn't put a third phase study at all. So we don't know whether it really works or doesn't work. We don't know. We believed Krishna Ella's statement. He produced in the company one brochure, sorry, not brochure, one article which said 78% people got benefit out of the vaccine. So it's still a vaccine which is only supported by hearsay.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. There's one more question on the chat. There's some news that smokers have less chance of getting infected. What is your opinion?
Now, don't start smoking just because that particular statement. That's still debatable. They said that those who are smoking by numbers had a lesser incidence of COVID infection, but we still don't have a correlation whether it's a very small study which was done, and that was a retrospective. They found out how many people got infected and then asked how many of them smoked. So the number of smokers in that group was less. So they concluded that it's a smoking will prevent COVID, but that's a very hodgepodge study. Scientifically, you have to have double-blind studies, and then we have to find out that's not happened. So the answer is inconclusive.
Thank you, Doctor. Any more questions?
I just wanted to ask one question that,
sure.
I have been taking this regular flu vaccine for the last 10 years, every year without fail. Now it is time for me to take another one sometime in September or so. But having taken these 2 doses of COVID vaccine, is that okay if I continue?
Yeah, it's okay. You can take flu vaccine along with it. There's no problem.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. Any more questions? There's some question on the steam inhalation in the chat, but I think you have answered that, no, about how useful steam inhalation.
Steam means,
Yeah. So there is also some question about alcohol and vaccination, I think.
No, alcohol act as a sanitizer. Yes, you can wash hand in alcohol, but it will start smelling badly. All sanitizers invariably damage your skin. So as far as possible, just use soap and water is my recommendation, because this virus gets killed with normal soap and water. You don't need a very powerful antiseptic solution.
No, I think what our Shanmugam was mentioning was a little different. I think it was a spiritual, oral intake of alcohol. I think that was his.
I think in the same way as smoking, do people who regularly drink have resistance against the virus?
No, this is a respiratory virus. It just goes into the lungs. So unless you drown yourself in alcohol, I don't think it will kill the virus.
Okay.
No, because there are some alcoholic groups. There are some forwards saying that drinking whiskey will prevent infection. No. So everybody is drinking a lot of whiskey these days.
That's a lockdown effect.
Dipping yourself in alcohol is a very good suggestion.
Doctor, last week, 10 days, I've been volunteering daily 3-4 hours at the vaccination center. One regular question I get there from especially the poorer sections is, if you get vaccinated, can they still drink? So what should I say? I tell them to stay away for 2 days.
Yeah, that's enough. That's enough. 2 days, unless he's a daily drinker. So
okay.
then don't stop his drinking. What happens is they'll start developing withdrawal symptoms.
Okay.
So, pass his day without alcohol, and definitely that he needs treatment for alcoholism than for his this thing, because alcoholism itself is a disease, the chronic alcoholism. So leaving those people aside, ideal suggestion is take 1 to 2 days off alcohol, but there is no proven contraindication between alcohol and vaccination.
Okay, because for the first person who asked me that, I just said, he ran away without the vaccine. So then after that, I started saying 2 days.
2 days. Okay.
He is confident of handling the virus than quitting the alcohol.
Okay, so, okay, any more questions? Okay, I think we have no more questions. So so I think we have had a wonderful interactive session with Dr. Krishna Mohan, an extremely useful session in today's day and age. Now I'll hand over to our President-elect Shankar Subramaniam to give the vote of thanks.
Good evening, everybody. First of all, I'd like to thank Dr. Krishna Mohan for being part of our COVID Rapid Action WhatsApp group. It's been a real value add. You respond to our queries in such a short notice, and it's really honor to have you supporting our Rotary volunteers and guiding them effectively. And also you have been a big support for all our Rotarians who have been doing some teleconsultation with you. And I think I've also bothered you many times and passed on references of people who have been wanting some COVID related queries and all that. And I think you give really valid advice, and I think many of us have benefited from it. So thank you very much for that. And thank you very much for agreeing to spend quite a valuable time. I know you have a busy schedule, and you've taken time off to spend time with us. I know you've also been a Rotarian, so you understand as well. So thank you very much for your in detailed discussion. While the topic may sound very simple, I think it's a very profound topic, and it has really clarified a lot of doubts. And I think all the people who are volunteering can benefit from this input that you have given us. And also gives us hope that we can continue with our vaccination drive, and hopefully, we should be able to make a difference to the community. So thank you very much, Dr. Krishna Mohan, for your support and the wonderful talk. Thank you very much.